All right, Shalom. This is Harwan Ben Yasha'Allah of the Lions Den Camp, right here in Jacksonville, Florida. Before I begin, I want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, Ba Hashem Yahushai, Ba Hashem, Harakah Kodash, Ma'amath. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and the elders. Shalom to you, Akim, and Akwatim and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. Yeah, man, believe it or not, did almost an hour and a half lesson earlier today, and started editing the video and deleted it by mistake. So this is gonna be a different lesson. I just want to read the parable and see where the Spirit takes me. All right. So this is Zechariah chapter 8. I'm gonna go to verse all the way down to verse 8. All right. Now, to set the scene, this is the prophet Zechariah, who was on the scene during the time of Darius the Persian. All right. And this was around 520 BC. And the proof of that is you go to Zechariah chapter 1. It says, Zechariah 1:1, in the 8th month, in the 2nd year of Darius. All right. So not Darius the Mede, but Darius the Persian. All right. So, and he started ruling in 522 BC. Okay. After he killed Bardia, which was an imposter. So in the 2nd year would be 520 BC. All right. So in the 2nd year of Darius came the word of Yahweh unto Zechariah, the son of Berechiah, the son of Iddo, the prophet. All right. All right. So now this was a reflection of things, a shadow of things to come. The fact that the Lord Yahweh promised us that he was going to bring us back into our land. Because by this time in 586 BC, which would be like almost 60 years prior to 520, you had Nebuchadnezzar and the Assyrians show up in Jerusalem and take Zedekiah and take all the prophets into slavery and scattered us in different areas. All right. So right here in Zechariah, Yahweh was promising to bring us back into our land and to rebuild the temple, starting with Cyrus the Great, Cambyses, and then to Darius the Persian. And under Persian law, following after Cyrus the Great, whom the Most High put a spirit on him, this Persian, to put out an edict or a law that we were to rebuild our temple, Jerusalem, the second temple. So he was promising us that it was going to happen, that we were going to come back into that land, that it was going to be beautified, we were going to be made perfect. He was going to lead us there through the truth. All right. And that's when you have people like Zerubbabel, all right, and the high priest Joshua. All right. So now that's a reflection of the church. That's what Zerubbabel and I represented. Okay. A shadow of things to come, like the church, the 7 churches of Asia Minor. Okay, that we're going to usher in the kingdom of Yahweh. Now, if we read Zechariah chapter 8, you can see how it's a reflection of what we're experiencing and have been blessed to see the introduction of the kingdom in these times. All right. So this is going to be a quick parable. I spent some time trying to edit that video earlier, and my silly behind pressed delete. Just delete it. Couldn't find it nowhere. But it was a lesson dealing with King David and his mighty men. I think it was 2 Samuel 23. But anyway, Zechariah 8:1. Again, the word of Yahweh of hosts came to me, saying, Thus saith Yahweh of armies, of the armies of heaven, I was jealous for Zion with great jealousy, and I was jealous for her with great fury, right? So the Lord was jealous over us, because we're what? Let's get that. Right? So the Lord was jealous over us, man, with a godly jealousy. All right? Ezekiel 16:30. How weak is thine heart, saith Yahweh, the power. Seeing thou doest all these things, the work of an imperious, whorish woman, man. The same way you'll be jealous over your woman if she slept with another man, multiple men. And that's the same way, the same rage and fury Yahweh has over us, our nation, following after false gods. All right? Following after the customs of these heathens and these dynasties and these kingdoms. All right, so even till this day, the scriptures say that the Lord is angry with the wicked every day, still angry. How weak is thine heart, man? So our people became weak. Saith Yahweh the power, seeing thou doest all these things, the work of an imperious, whorish woman. Let me get that word, imperious. All right, so it says shalasha, shalatha, which would be a vixen, an imperious or domineering woman. All right. So it says, because thou doest all these things, the work of an imperious, whorish woman, man. And our nation is whorish and rebellious. So to commit adultery, to commit idolatry, okay, whorish. And the woman represents the children of Israel. He said he is likened the daughter of Zion into a comely and delicate woman. Instead, we became, as a nation, an imperious and whorish woman. All right, by following after idols. And that thou buildest thine eminent place in the head of every way. All right, so let me get this real quick. And makest thine high place in every street, and hast not been as an harlot, in that thou scornest hire, but as a wife that committeth adultery, man. So, all right. Because if a woman is just a whore, nobody's gonna be jealous over her. But if a wife that committeth adultery, that'll bring some rage and fury. But as a wife that committeth adultery, which taketh strangers instead of her own husband, they give gifts to all whores, but thou givest thy gifts to all thy lovers, man. You see that? So, let me get this real quick. And hirest them, that they may come unto thee on every side for thy whoredom, man. So instead of the whore getting paid, the whore is paying the tricks, or the heathen nations, giving them the wealth that the Lord blessed us with. And even today, our people are doing that, selling their soul for filthy lucre. All right, let me get that. This is Jeremiah chapter 2. I'll start from 20. For of old time I have broken thy yoke and burst thy bands, and thou sayest, I will not transgress. When upon every high hill, meaning these nations, all right, And under every green tree thou wanderest playing the harlot. See that? So, okay, these kingdoms and these nations of people, these dynasties, all right, that's hiding under every green tree. Okay, and religion. So just like Adam was trying to do in the beginning, hiding. Playing the harlot, yet I have planted thee a noble vine, man. Okay? Holy, a right seed, a righteous seed. So when the Lord established us, he established us to become righteous, but we went off as a nation. How then art thou turned into a degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? And how? Because of idolatry and following after the customs of these heathens. For though thou washest thee with nitre was a soda water that we would use to cleanse ourselves with. So the Lord was saying, though our people wash themselves with that, or even today, let's put it in the way of, though they dunk themselves in this tap water at these churches 1,000 times over, dunking their head in the water, calling themselves baptizing. And take thee much soap, yet thine iniquity is marked before me, saith Yahweh with power. How canst thou say, I am not polluted? I have not gone after Baalim. That means Baalim, which means idols. All right, plural. So, see thy way in the valley. Know what thou hast done. Thou art a swift dromedary traversing in her ways, meaning doing what the hell they want to do out here. And even back then, they was doing what the hell they wanted to do. Traversing in her ways, a swift dromedary like a camel or a donkey, a jackass. All right. But dromedary is basically a camel. Traversing in her ways, man. All right. So just like Jada Pinkett and her entanglements. So we got our nations, our people got entangled with these heathens and their idols. It says to interlace, to twist, to crisscross, twist, or entangle. All right. So entangled in her ways, man. Verse 24, a wild ass. See that? So this is focusing on a donkey. And a donkey has to be fed, not like sheep. Sheep can graze, and they have a filtration system to clean the provender that they eat. But a donkey has to be fed, or they'll eat from anywhere. But it's better to clean the food, the provender first, and then feed the donkey, because they don't have that same filtration system. All right. So a wild ass used to the wilderness, man, like being used. This wild, like a wild olive tree. Wild meaning immoral or lawless, like these heathens. So our people became wild, used to the wilderness, man, being used of the world. All right. That snuffeth up the wind at her pleasure, man. Every wind of doctrine, anything that come their way, going all around, snuffing up whatever they pushing, and the smells and whatever they got, these nations, whatever they cooking. Idolatry, wickedness, self-worship, whatever they into. Money worship, murder. That's what 2/3 are into today. All right, snuffing up the wind at her pleasure. In her occasion, who can turn her away? So when she's in heat, just like our nation became following after their lovers, these heathen nations and their idols. That's what it was saying. Usually a whore would get paid, but instead the whore was paying the heathens. All right, paying them for protection, giving them up resources that the Lord blessed us to have. You know, giving them our people. In her occasion, who can turn her away? All they that seek her will not weary themselves. See, that's right. Why? Because she'll be waiting right at their doorstep. 2/3 are still in that mindset. They ain't even gonna have to chase. They right there waiting for whatever they offering. In her month, they shall find her. So when she's in heat or in need, you can bet that Jake will be right at Esau on the heathen's doorstep, worshiping their idols, calling on false gods. All right. So, it says, withhold thy foot from being unshod, man. All right. So, from what? Unsandaled, barefoot, bareness, being unshod, to take off the shoes. All right. So it says here, withhold thy foot from being uncovered. It's deep, man. Being naked. And thy throat from thirst. But thou saidest, so the Lord saying, control yourself, He was telling our people to control themselves and stop being needy to these nations. Just wait on the Lord. And thy throat from thirst, but thou saidest, there is no hope. See, they started getting doubtful. And they said there was no hope. No, for I have loved strangers, and I will go after them. So they trusting in this world and their powers more than they trusting in the Most High power, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, and the power that He established. All right. Now look at our condition today from trusting these heathens and their idols. It says, as the thief is ashamed when he is found, so is the house of Israel ashamed. They, their kings, their princes, and their priests, and their prophets, saying to a stock, thou art my father, and to a stone, thou hast brought me forth. For they have turned their back unto me, and not their face. But in the time of their trouble, they will say, arise and save us. But where are your gods that thou hast made thee? Let them arise if they can save thee in the time of thy trouble. All right. For according to the number of thy cities are thy gods, O Judah. So that's right, man. So wherever you see Israelites at, they most likely got some idolatry there, worshiping the idols of these heathens. All right. That's right. So this is 2 Corinthians 11:2. For I am jealous over you with a godly jealousy, man. Okay, see that? So the Lord is jealous over us, man. He don't play when it comes to us. If we start worshiping idols, following the idols a little bit, He said He will not share His glory with anyone. He's the Most High, Yahweh, power. And He established Yahushua. So Yahushua is a God too, but He's under Yahweh. All right? For I am jealous over you with a godly jealousy. For I have espoused you to one husband, that I might present you as a chaste virgin to Yahushua. All right, that virgin being the woman Israel, and being chaste. So we got to, pull away from idol worship and serve Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. All right, so this is what Yahweh felt. He felt envious. He was mad about it. He was covetous over us, man. started a grudge, suspicious, possessiveness, man. All right, because Yahweh owns us, and he gave us to Yahweh Shai as his possession, as his servants. All right, so let's keep going. Zechariah 8:3. All right, so thus saith Yahweh, verse 2. Thus saith Yahweh of the heavenly host of armies, I was jealous for Zion with great jealousy, and I was jealous for her with great fury. Thus saith Yahweh, I am returned unto Zion. See that? So now the Lord, even to today, the Lord is returning to us. Let me get this. This is Hosea 5:15. I will go and return to my place. See that? Till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face, and in their affliction they shall seek me early, right? So the Lord has gone and returned into his place in the heavens, and he wasn't dealing with us until he blessed us to be able to acknowledge our offenses that we committed. All right, so Zechariah 8:3. Thus saith Yahweh, I am returned unto Zion. So now the Lord has returned unto us and blessed us to return unto him, and will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, right? And he's in the midst of us now. This is Matthew 18 and 19. Again, I say unto you, that if two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them of my Father which is in heaven. For where 2 or 3 witnesses, 3 are gathered together in Yahweh's name, there am I in the midst of them. See that? Right? Because he's in the midst of us now in the spirit, and then he's going to be in the midst of us physically in the last day, in the end, in the kingdom. 2 Ezra 2 and 43. Verse 42. And I saw upon the Mount Zion a great people whom I could not number, and they all praised Yahweh with songs, with more praise, right? With praise, songs just meaning praising him, all right? Or crying out to him. And in the midst of them, there was a young man of a high stature. That's Yahweh Shai. He's the top angel under Yahweh. Taller than all the rest. All right, so he was placed above even the holy angels. All right, so we're going to be exalted, but he's going to be over us. And upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. So it says what? And in the midst of them, who is that? The elect of Israel. So he's in the midst of us spiritually now, and in the physical form, he's gonna be in the midst of Israel, placing crowns upon their head because of this. This is 1 Thessalonians 4:17. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, in the chariots, to meet Yahweh Shai in the air. So shall we ever be with the Lord, man. So once the elect get taken into them chariots, they're going to be in the possession of Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai is going to hold his bride in the chambers, all right, and be brought to Yahweh Shai for the ceremony. As I said before, the coronation or the crowning of the elect. All right. So it says he's in the midst. He's going to be in the midst in the kingdom as well. This is Revelation 21:3. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of Yahweh is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and Yahweh himself shall be with them and be their power. So this is about to happen. So he's with us now, and he's going to be with us physically forever and forever and forever for eternity. All right, so let's keep going. Zechariah 8 and 3. Thus saith Yahweh, I am returned unto Zion, right? and will dwell with them. So dwell in the midst of Yerushalayim, the elect, the city of peace. And Yerushalayim shall be called a city of truth. Okay. All right. So what's a city? It says Ayara or Ayar. Ayara. It says a city, excitement, anguish of terror, city, town, a place of waking, guarded, a guarded place. A place guarded by waking or a watch. Even of a mere encampment or post, and that's the elect. That's the camp. All right, that's holding posts, that's out there teaching. So, that's right, man. A place that's guarded by waking or a watch. And the Lord telling us to awake, and he's also telling us to watch. And matter of fact, he said the same thing to Jeremiah. All right, so each of the elect are going to be as a city. He said, a city that's set upon the hill cannot be hid. All right. And they're going to be as what? As water in a dry place, right? As a covering from the winds. That's going to be each individual man that's in this truth. Jeremiah, if they're the elect. Jeremiah 1:18. For behold, I have made thee this day a defensed city, man. Whew. So that's what he was saying to Jeremiah. So the same things he said to Jeremiah, he's saying to us today. All right, so if you're in this truth, he made you a defense city, and he can pass you as with a shield. And the scriptures say, the angels of the Lord encampeth around them that fear the Lord. So behold, I have made thee this day a defensed city, a place of that's being guarded by a wake or a watch, and an iron pillar, brazen walls against the whole land, against the kings of Judah, against the princes thereof, against the priests thereof, and against the people of the land. And we're set up. They say he made our forehead hard against their foreheads. All right. So Zechariah 8:3. Thus saith Yahweh, I am returned unto Zion, and will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and Jerusalem shall be called a city of truth. All right, not lies. City of truth. All right, the scriptures say Esau is the father of lies, the devil. But he also say the prince of this world cometh, and he has nothing in me. Why? Because Yahweh's kingdom is going to be based upon this. This is John 14:6. Yahweh saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no man cometh unto the Father but by me. Right? So Yahweh is the way and the truth. So his kingdom is about to be established. Right? So Yahweh's kingdom, he says he's the way, the truth, and the light. So this is going to be a kingdom that's based upon the truth and not lies. All right. Daniel 2:44. And in the days of these kings shall Yahweh, the God of heaven, the armies of heaven, set up a kingdom. So he's establishing a kingdom right now. All right. Upon this earth with the elect, which shall never be destroyed. All right. Once we're fully built, and shown to the world, will never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all the kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, and the silver, and the gold. So all the nations on the earth, all the kingdoms, and the dynasties are going to be broken by Yahweh. All right. The great God, Yahweh hath made known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof is sure. That's right, man, because the Lord said, what? Ye are the temple of Yahweh. And also Yahweh Shai said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. But that kingdom has to be of the truth, the city of truth. All right. John 4:23, but the hour cometh now is when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. For the Father seeketh such to worship him. Yahweh is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. Why? Because that's what his kingdom is going to be based on, truth and righteousness. This is Hebrews 1:7. And of the angels he saith, who maketh his angels spirits and his ministers a flame of fire. Right? So this is a twofold scripture that was referencing to a precept, I think it's in Psalms, where it speaks about the heavenly host being created, the sun, moon, and the stars. He made a flame of fire, and he has those in order, and he controls the heavens and the earth. The same way Yahweh is over the heavenly angels, who are flames of fire, a spirit. All right? Just like he showed in Ezekiel that Yahweh is over the heavenly host and controlling things. All right? And he established Yahweh Shai over every spirit and rulership. But unto the Son he saith, thy throne, O power, right? Because Yahweh Shai is a power too, according to the book of John, chapter 1. Thy throne, O power, is forever and ever. A scepter of righteousness is the scepter of thy kingdom. All right? Thou hast loved righteousness and hated iniquity. So ain't going to be no iniquity allowed in the kingdom of Yahweh Shai. Therefore, Yahweh, even thy power, hath anointed thee with the oil of gladness above thy fellows. All right? So, Zechariah 8:3. Thus saith Yahweh, I am returned unto Zion, and will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem. All right, through the Spirit, and ultimately in the kingdom, he's gonna be with us, and we'll be with him. And Jerusalem shall be called a city of truth, man. All right, and all the nations gonna come up to that city, seeking the truth, seeking the righteous laws. And our gates are not gonna be shut day nor night. And they're going to want to know how to live according to the righteous laws and the truth, and who the true God is. Righteousness is going to reign supreme. All right. In fact, let's get that. This is 2nd Ezra 2:27. For evil shall be put out, man. See that? So when Yahweh Shai is on the throne in righteousness, he's going to put all wickedness out of the earth. And deceit shall be quenched, man, right? Because the scriptures say leasing is hard at hand in the book of 2nd Ezra. Leasing, meaning lying, was hard at hand, meaning Esau is about to start ruling, and they're going to push a bunch of lies because he's a father authority. That's his gift, to be over the lies and shit. The media and lies and iconoclasm and painting the likeness of their images in our books. All right? Creating the lies, establishing the lie, and then causing the wicked of our nation to believe those lies. But it's all the will of Yahweh. For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for, right, so they're going on in deception, even with this new world order, and they think they're going to reach their goals, but it's going to be quenched. It's going to be put out like a thirst or a fire, and it's going to be, somebody throw a bucket of water on a match. We're going to put their dreams right out of commission. All right. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which have been so long without fruit, shall be declared, man. So everything will be declared. The kingdom, the kingdom of the elect are going to be seen by the world. Yahweh, the whole world is going to see Yahweh Shai, according to Revelations 1:7. Every eye shall see him. And the scriptures say what? They shall all see together. So the truth is going to be declared. All right. Shall reign supreme. Now, all right, I'm going to wrap this up. Zechariah 8:3. Thus saith Yahweh, I am returned unto Zion, and I will dwell in the midst of Yerushalayim. And Yerushalayim shall be called a city of truth, and the mountain of Yahweh of hosts, the holy mountain. That's what we're going to be called, man. This is Isaiah 2 and 1. The word that Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Yerushalayim, man. So he's going to bring us back together, as he's doing right now through the Spirit. And it shall come to pass in the last days, so we're in the last days now, that the mountain of Yahweh, the government of Israel, all right, and the government are going to be upon Yahweh Shai's shoulders, all right, that the mountain of Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, man. So over all the nations, over all the other kingdoms, and shall be exalted above the hills, man, these dynasties, and all nations shall flow unto it. So all the nations are going to come to us to get the truth, get the answers, get the laws. And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, the government of Yahweh, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways. What's his ways? The truth. So in the kingdom, these nations are going to understand the laws, all right, by getting through slavery, all right, getting whipped. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of Yahweh from Yerushalayim, man. So the law is going to be distributed from Jerusalem, the borders of Israel, someday, and the elect are going to be there under Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, and his word, which is what? Let's get that. So his word is going to go out as well. This is John 17, 15. I pray not that thou shouldest take them out of the world, it's talking about the elect, but that thou shouldest keep them from the evil. They are not of the world, even as I am not of this world, right? Yahweh Shai is not of the wickedness of this world. Sanctify them, meaning make them holy or separate them through thy truth. That's the sift, according to Amos chapter 9. All right, so sanctify the elect through thy truth. Thy word is truth, all right? So his word is the truth. So his word is going to be announced on a daily basis from the borders of Israel in the kingdom, from Yahweh to Yahweh Shai to the elect of Israel under King David, and the rest of Israel going to give out the orders to these heathens. All right, it's going to be a beacon to the world. Okay, so we're going to be called the city of truth. Zechariah 8:3, thus saith Yahweh, I am returned unto Zion, and I will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and Jerusalem shall be called a city of truth, and the mountain of Yahweh of hosts, of the heavenly armies, the holy mountain. So the elect are going to be called the holy government. All right, and Yahweh has set what? He set his king upon his holy hill, Zion. That's Yahweh Shai, that's over us. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, there shall yet old men and old women dwell in the streets of Jerusalem, and every man with his staff in his hand for very age, right? So that represented, again, as we go back to Zechariah, that goes back to the time of the Lord promising us that our temple was going to be built, starting with the foundation. All right. And then ultimately the foundation was established in 536 to 535 under Cyrus the Great. All right. And it was we were betrayed and installed by this imposter named Bardia. And then the Lord raised up Darius the Persian to execute him and put him in power, Darius in power, and Darius continued the orders of the Persian king Cyrus the Great for us to rebuild our temple by the orders of Yahweh. All right, that put it on Cyrus's heart to do so. So when we began to build, the Lord was promising us that he's going to fill that place with joy again, that there's going to be people, children in the streets in the sense of safety and health. And it was going to be old people there with holding staffs, meaning they were going to die of old age instead of sicknesses. Now, that already happened during that time, all right? All up to 516 BC, that's when it was complete, the second temple. And the Lord did bring us back into that land, all the way up until 70 AD, where they ran us out of there. All right. So now, where was it at? Let me see this. Because now, going into the kingdom, we're not going to get old. All right. Once the elect hopeful elect get delivered and changed in the twinkling of an eye, this corruption shall put on incorruption. This mortality must put on immortality. So 2nd Ezra 2:42. I, Ezra, saw upon Mount Zion a great people whom I could not number, and they all praised Yahweh with songs. You can read Revelations chapter 7, 144,000 in a small multitude. And in the midst of them, let me get to the point. Verse 45. Verse 44. So I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? And he answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing, and have put on the immortal, and have confessed the name of Yahweh. Now are they crowned and receive palms. See, the elect are not going to need staves and canes to walk around on getting old. But you can still use that precept in the sense of this. This is 2nd Ezra 7:49. Because in the kingdom of Yahweh Shai is going to be safety behind our walls. You know, and all over the earth. It said, scripture say, they shall not hurt in all my holy mountain. So not even animals going to be able to hurt us. 2nd Ezra 7:49. For what profit is it unto us if there be promised us an immortal time to be living forever, whereas we have done the works that bring death? All right, so that didn't profit us, man. We done the works that brought us to this point of death, being in Esau's clutches. And that there is promised us an everlasting hope, whereas ourselves, being most wicked, are made vain. And that there are laid up for us dwellings. See that? Dwellings. The same way if you picture a neighborhood with how it used to be in America, you know. Well, it was always bad here, but growing up in Philadelphia, man, you had that whole Bill Cosby show type of vibe, man. Or children outside playing on the fire hydrants. All the mom and pop stores, Mr. Troy's, Mr. Earl's. You know, a lot of people was alive back then. All right. And a lot of them are gone. In the kingdom, there's not going to be any more death. So it's going to be a lot of life, a lot of children in the streets. and have a lot to eat and places to lay their head in the streets of gold. It's going to be room for all of us, and rest shall be allowed, is what the Lord said. But also it's going to be this, and that there should be laid up for us dwellings of health and safety. That goes into milk and honey. All right, the healing of our nation and also safety. Whereas we have lived wickedly, and that's what our people did, went astray and lived wickedly. And also goes into what? Let's get that. And that the glory of the Most High is kept to defend them which have led a weary life, whereas we have walked in the most wicked ways of all, and that there should be showed a paradise. So the kingdom is paradise, man, whose fruit endureth forever, wherein is security and medicine. That goes into milk and honey once again. Since we shall not enter into it. Okay, so now we'll get to the point. All right, Zechariah 8:3. Thus saith Yahweh, I am returned unto Zion, and will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and Jerusalem shall be called a city of truth, and the mountain of Yahweh of armies, the holy mountain. Thus saith Yahweh of armies, there shall yet old men and old women dwell in the streets of Jerusalem, and every man with his staff in his hand for very age. And that happened back then. But now in the kingdom, the elect are not going to age. They're going to be perfect and immortal. The children are going to age till they get to a certain point. All right, and we're most likely going to be around the ages like 30 or 40. But we're going to be eternal. And the streets of the city shall be full of boys and girls. Not like America. You got gray areas and shit. Ain't gonna be no gray areas in the kingdom. There's gonna be boys and girls playing in the streets thereof. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, if it be marvelous in the eyes of the remnant of this people in these days, should it also be marvelous in mine eyes, saith Yahweh of hosts? Right, so he gonna get to enjoy it as well. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, behold, I will save my people from the east country and from the west country. At that time, it was the Assyrians. All right, so and the Persians. All right, so now today, the Lord is going to deliver the elect from all the nations, especially Esau. Verse 8, and I will bring them, see, the Lord promised he's going to bring us, and they shall dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and they shall be my people, and I will be their God in truth and in righteousness.